Hi everyone, it's Heidi from flutterbyheidi.co.uk. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based here in the United Kingdom, and today we're doing a project using the fabulous Nature's Beauty stamp set and some of the winter catalogue Twill Tidings paper. So this is lovely paper because it's actually very vanilla for a change rather than Whisper White, but it's got gorgeous scenes and it's one of the returning favourites from last year. And it comes in 6 patterns, are 12 sheets, 12 by 12 paper, 6 different designs, and I think I've only got 5 of them here, but hey, there we go. So on the one side you've got real red and very vanilla, and then you've got the same scene in garden green on the reverse, so lovely East of House scene. So then we've got some foliage scenes, foliage backgrounds, gorgeous animals, and again on the reverse we've got the garden green, and then you've got sort of check plaid, whichever you wish to call it, red on one side, green on the other, and stripes, red on one side, green on the other. Have I covered all of them? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I've obviously missed one, but I will find it later if I can and share that with you. So the card I'm making is a great one for posting, and here we go. It's just a really simple U-shaped card, but using some acetate instead to create a scene on the front, and just with a bit of colouring really brings that to life. So I made this with my team recently in a team meeting, and we've got garden green and real red just to show you the difference. But I think they're great cards, and on the back I've just put a panel. You could put very vanilla or Whisper White on the back, which I've added a couple of images to as well, where you can write your sentiment. So that's the card we're making today. I haven't done much prep in advance, so we're going to wing it a little bit. So to start off with, then you're going to need a piece of card that is 5 3/4 by 6 1/4 inches. So yep, I am going to work in inches today. I will put the measurements, as I always do, in the alternate, well, in both actually, on my blog, where you can find them. So 5 3/4. Or 14.5 centimetres, and then we're going to go for 6 1/4 inches. And then you're going to score at 1 inch, which is easy to do on this right hand side here, flip it round, and then at 2 inches, at 4 1/4 inches, and at 5 1/4 inches, and that leaves your last inch on the end there. So that's our card. We want a panel, if you're going to use very vanilla on the back, you want a panel very vanilla that is just 2 1/8 by 5 3/4. Probably I've got that at 14.5 actually. Yeah, okay, I can make it work. So 2 1/8. And then you want a panel of piece of very vanilla for the front inside, which you're going to do your marking, sponging on, which again is 2 1/8 by 5 3/4. And then you're going to need some of our DSP. You want 4 pieces of this, and again this is going to be 5 3/4. And then you want 4 pieces that are 7/8 of an inch. So I'm just going to do those on the right hand side here. Like so. And then the last thing you're going to need is some acetate. You see I've got a piece here. Okay, so that's, yeah, my 5 3/4. So I'm just going to cut that at 3 inches. Not that you can see that very well, but it is, believe me, there. Okay. So let's get our components. So the bit I'm going to do first is actually the stamping for the front, because we're going to be using StazOn, and although StazOn does dry really quickly, you want to make sure that you're going to get that image isn't going to smudge when you turn it over. So we're going to come in, so imagine this, there's going to be an overlap, so you're going to be stamping in the middle couple of inches of this. And then I'm going to ink this up really well. StazOn dries out if you're not careful, so always make sure you keep the little plastic cover. You might need to re-ink it, but I really do sort of go over it really well several times. And then all you're going to do is just come up slightly from, kind of slightly off centre, and just up off the bottom. And there we have our image. Okay, you can see there, our lovely deer. So I'm going to obviously clean that off with my StazOn cleaner quite quickly, because you don't, this is one of the few occasions when I do actually use a wipe fairly swiftly. So what I do is I just grab my stamp, pop that out of the way because we don't want that to get damaged. I'm going to come over with my StazOn cleaner, work that in really well, and then what I do is I come in and put that straight away onto, I'm just using a wipe here, just to make sure that is off as quickly as possible. Okay, so now I've got a nice inky mess there, so I'm going to put my cover on my StazOn, this little plastic cover I talked about, pop that away. And so now we can carry on with our card construction and our background. So we're first of all, we're going to fold and reinforce these creases to make our U-fold card. So fold them all away to reinforce them, and then those end ones, so the middle ones, just reinforce. So you're going to create this U shape, like so, and you should find that fits quite nicely. Then we're going to do our stamped panel. So for this, what I've done is I've just cut a couple of post-it notes, and I've just sort of cut a sort of a wavy-ish line, and I'm going to just pop that up here, and I'm going to use fabulous new blending brushes. These are available in the new catalogue, absolutely wonderful soft blending brushes. You can see this one's pristine. This is my one for blues, come in a pack of 3. All the same size as well, which is really good. So always blending, start off and then just come over the top there and work that, and you'll see that sort of really blends well. So just keep working that till you've got the amount of colour that you want. And so I've done that one quite dark, and I'm just going to put a hint of colour, almost like a bit of a shadow, a little bit further down, which is going to create my space for me to do my stamping. And then I'm just going to use my ordinary Memento black for the next bit. So up on that tree line, on the top, I'm going to add my trees, so just like so, and then I'm going to come down a bit lower and add my other tree there. I probably could have inked that up a little bit more, and then just at the front I'm going to pop my sort of sprigs in. In fact, no, I meant to do that to my acetate. Actually, let's pop that to one side. I can do some in the background on that one. So yeah, I'm going to pop some, there we go, at the bottom there. And I am going to come in with my StazOn and just add on the front there. I would normally clean that off a little bit, but I'm not going to worry too much right now. There's a certain smell to StazOn, it's a really powerful one. Right, okay, so we've created our background. Now what you could do is you could come in and stamp with the other images to kind of create a snow scene. I'm just going to keep it quite simple now. Next thing that we need to do is add our acetate onto our card. So what you're going to do here is I'm going to add some tape to each of these side panels. Now, the sort of tape that you want to use is absolutely entirely up to you. You could use our Stampin' Fuse, not Stampin' Fuse, our new Seal Plus if you wanted to for this. I'm just waiting for my Seal Plus refill to come, so I can't use mine. Obviously our old Fast Fuse would do the job as well, or if you've got some fine liner tape. And you're just going to come slightly away from the edge to do this. So you don't want it right on the edge, you just want it just a tiny touch away. Just kind of keeps it a little bit smoother. Pop those there, and before we put our acetate on, we want to put our centre panel in place. So grab your centre panel that you've created, and that is going to go into the middle there. And that will just fit between those score lines, like so. Then with our panels of real red, I like to just rearrange those back to how I cut them, because you're going to want those middle two pieces. Well, I do. I just think it creates a little bit more continuity. So I'm going to take this one for the right. Like so. And if ever you have any overhang top and bottom, that's fine, you can trim that off afterwards. Then we're going to add our panel in. No, we're not, we're going to colour our panel first. So this is the bit that brings it to life. I am just taking my light soft suede and colouring in on the reverse. Now you don't want to come in from the front, because otherwise you will just blur your lovely image. So come in on the reverse, and it's sort of kind of like creating your own sort of stained glass almost. And I've just used light soft suede, and you can come in with, it's only because I just happen to have that on hand. And you don't have to be incredibly precise, but just add that in, and it takes seconds to dry, obviously. Just a few seconds for that alcohol, and you turn that over and you've got your lovely image. So have a look at it and see if you want any more colour. So I'm going to put a little bit more colour on the legs there. So just come in with my bullet tip. There we go. And then we're going to add this to our card. So if you imagine, we're just going to add it to the front panel, then we're going to fold it and add it to the second one. So I'm just taking the adhesive off my tape on the left. And just lining that up. So if you imagine, I'm lining it up with the bottom here, and then pressing it down. Then fold your card. So this one's zigzagged and this one is flat. You see I've sort of come over quite a way on that one. And just press it in place. And that creates our panel. So you can see that's where I've got my deer off to the right hand side, and that creates our 3D effect. And all that remains is to add our panels of DSP just to cover up where we've put those. So. And the other side exactly the same. The fact that it's not on centrally, that acetate, doesn't matter. It's more important that you get your image in the right place, and having that extra width gives you space to play. And then all that remains is to add our panel onto the reverse, which we can stamp with our little rabbit image from the same stamp set. And A little hoppy image. As I said, you can either do that in Berry Vanilla or Whisper White, and obviously you can also add panels to the reverse if you wanted to, just to add to the overall effect. And that all remains is to pop that in place. So there we have our pretty 3D scene cards using our new blending brushes, or a brayer, or a sponge, whichever you prefer. And there you have a range of cards, and you can see, depending on how dark you colour, which colours you use, you get a different effect. So, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you'd like to purchase either the Twirl Tidings or the Beauty Abound stamp set, pop along to my blog, flutterbyheidi.co.uk, or if you go to the description bar below this video, you'll find a link to all of the products there as well. Thanks for watching. Come back again soon. Bye.